Last time on the Flash comics, right here at Comicstorian. Flash faced off against the Trickster while he attempted to give the citizens of Central City false happiness despite his own hatred towards his parents. With the help of Commander Cold's tech, a version of Captain Cold from the future that's good, Flash managed to reverse the effects, but Trickster disappeared into the chaos. With the city returning to normal, Flash found a man in his office named Steadfast who controlled the Still Force. Flash questioned why he was there, but Steadfast told him that he needed to remember something that he had forgotten, and it brought him back to the year that he became the Flash. This is the Comicstorian channel, where we take the lore within your favorite pop culture universe, taking a storyline out of a video game, a comic book, or a movie, and we break it down into a digestible bite, giving it back to you as an audio drama, allowing you to keep up with your favorite storylines. And today we're going to be covering The Flash, issue 70, 71, and 72. As lightning strikes over the young Barry Allen's home, he watches from a window sitting in his attic. His mother, Nora, calls out asking what he's doing up there, and Barry goes back to the old box of comics, stating that he's just looking for something to read. Nora looks out the window asking what's got him reading her old comics, and Barry says that he's not sure. It's just that the classic heroes are so cool, good beating evil and all of that. But as Barry looks down, Nora lifts her head and sees a bruise, and asks where did he get that from. He tells her it's nothing. He's not getting picked on or anything. There's just some kids bullying someone, and he couldn't stand there and do nothing, right? Bad things might come of it in the future, but he knows the heroes that he reads about would never let something like that get them down. Nora hugs her son, stating that he's always hopeful, and whatever happens in this life, never lose that. Please. 15 years later, on February 11th, Barry heads downtown to process another crime scene with Officer August Hart. August looks at the man on the ground, stating that, from the looks of things, the man was shot in the back of the head. His gut says that it was a mob hit, probably brought to his knees, and then bang. Barry looks at the position of the deceased man's feet and the blood spatter and says, no, the victim was killed running. If he really wanted to become a detective, he can't rush judgment on any case. August laughs, telling him, that's why you're the best, Barry. But then a voice says, that's the word on the street, but Barry Allen never gives me the time of day. August then says that if it isn't Iris West, she shows up to these scenes so much that one might think that she's a serial murderer. Iris brushes him off, stating that she's just here to chase a story, and Central City's favorite CSI is 100% a story. It's just that every time she attempts to interview Mr. Allen, he dodges. Barry begins to tell her that he can't say anything because it's still an ongoing case, but August pushes him, stating, oh, it's okay. Barry's being shy. Iris then says that she knows deep down that there's a headline in him, but duty calls elsewhere this morning. The next time that she sends a text, though, he better answer. A short while later, Barry heads into the lab to process the evidence when he mistakenly bumps into a man playing with his kids in the street. Barry tells the man that he's sorry, but the man tells him it's fine, mistakes happen. And a few seconds later, the rain begins to come in, and one of the man's children yells that it stinks. The father says that they shouldn't be out in the street after dark anyway, but you know what? The sun will come out tomorrow. Barry listens, stating that he wished that he had shared that same sense of optimism. It's nights like this that remind him of his mother and him reading comics in the attic. In fact, that was the last time that he could remember being happy. After her murder, he worked so hard to learn everything that there was to learn about forensic evidence. The court said that his father killed his mother, and that the case was closed, that there's no justice for her, and now an innocent man sits in jail. As Barry gets to work, he gets a text from Iris asking if he wants to grab something to eat. He thinks about it for a moment. Just then, lightning strikes through the window, shattering the test tube and throwing the chemicals all over Barry's body. That was February 11th. Now, it's June 15th, and Barry Allen awakens from his coma. Visions of the past startle him as he screams out from his bed, knocking his plate of food over. He tries to catch it, and to his surprise, well, he does. The food, the drink, even the jello, but how? He tells himself he just needs to get home. But before he could even think about it, he's home. He rushes back to his lab to figure out what's happening. And that's when August hears something and asks who's there. But before August knew it, Barry had ran into the locker room, changed, and walked out wearing a tie. The next day, Barry sat down to try and process everything that is actually happening. His body is the crime scene. He just needs to put together the pieces. His blood looks normal, but the molecules have been energized. His calorie intake has increased to make up for the increased metabolism. He runs so fast that he sets fire to his shoes. And if he vibrates his molecules at the right frequency, he can phase through walls. But if there's even a slight error, which there always is, the object he's phasing through explodes. He can't create tornadoes, finding out how fast he can go, and when he tries to anyway, he burns through more pairs of shoes. Wayne's tech donated fireproof equipment to the fire department, so with those new shoes, he should be able to find out what his actual top speed is. So he readies himself and he runs. 100 miles per hour, easy. 200, no problem. It's actually starting to feel better, good even. Forget the past and the science for a moment and just run. And you know what? It's kind of fun. Just then there's a loud crack-a-boom, and Barry ends up tripping. He falls sliding on the ground and he hears a voice shouting, "Hurry up!" Barry looks up to see an army wearing green capturing people, and then a newspaper on the ground with the headline, "Flash loses Central City." Barry asks, "What is this? Is it a nightmare?" And as one of the soldiers sees him and asks what he's doing out of the shell, they tell him that he needs to come with them. Barry steps back trying to figure out what happened, and a red blur shoots by with a voice yelling, "Damn it, Barry! You shouldn't be here!" The red blur stops, and a man wearing a red uniform with a lightning bolt on it says, "When are we going to learn how dangerous time travel is?" Barry's mind begins to race, trying to understand what is going on as he looks at all of the horrible things around him. The man stops him, telling him, "I know what's going on with your head right now, but trust me when I say this, it'll all be okay." Barry asks who he is, and the man says, "I thought you would take a guess on the resemblance, but I'm you, well, a few years closer to the finish line." Barry smacks the old man's hand away, stating, No, this isn't real. This is a nightmare. I'm still in the hospital, right? Or did I die?" And the old man tells Barry, "Slow down a second. Time travel can be a little disorienting. You gotta breathe." But that's when a soldier yells, "It's the Flash! 2 of them!" Old man Flash grabs Barry, telling him, "We gotta leave. If there's one thing that I've learned over the years, is that if you stand still to avoid crazy, the crazy will come for you. Right now, the priority is getting home. If we stick around, those turtle guards will catch up." Barry says that he knew it. He knew the future would be horrible, that they'd screw up everything. And old man Flash laughs. "I can't believe I was ever that pessimistic." So Barry stops and trips, asking, "It's true? You're really the Barry Allen of the future?" And old man Flash stops, telling him, "People call me the Flash these days. Fastest man alive." Barry then asks, "How did you stop without tripping?" So old man Flash tells him, "You gotta slide into it." And as the two continue, Barry then asks, "You're the future me. You're a superhero? This is insane. I don't even like leaving my lab. How did I become a superhero?" Old man Flash tells him, "I can't explain that, but I can say that this has happened before. Right now, our life is a loop that can't be broken. If we were to create a time paradox, we would destroy all of reality, and we can't risk that. But now that we've got a second to breathe, we need to make sure that you know which timeline you're in. So here's a few questions to get things straight. Who is Iris? Wally? Wallace? August? Who killed our mother?" Barry thinks for a second, stating that Iris is just a friend, and he doesn't know anyone named Wally or Wallace. August is a friend at the CCPD, and he doesn't know who killed their mother. Do you? Old man Flash says, "We both read enough comics to know how dangerous it is to mess with time, no matter how bad it gets. Now, that tower over there, it creates an energy barrier over Central City that drains all traces of speed from anything. Nothing can get in or out. It's called the Shell, and it is the home to a man named the Turtle. Turtle uses his powers to steal speed and energy from Central City and its people. I fought the Turtle a few times over the years. Never took him seriously. No one really did, which was a mistake. One day, Turtle appeared and he just took over Central City. Other heroes tried to stop him, but no one can get past the Shell. Anyway, I probably said too much as it is. Turtle hungers for speed and we gotta get you back home." As the two stop inside of some ruins, some of Turtle's soldiers jump out stating that they knew that he would come for the Turtle's horde. Old man Flash cracks his knuckles, telling Barry, "It's been a long time since I fought alongside another speedster." And Barry stops him. "Wait, fight? I do not know how to fight." So old man Flash smiles, telling him, "Well, looks like it's up to me then." Barry watches as his older counterpart effortlessly uses the abilities that he's been trying to master. And just as one soldier goes for old man Flash, Barry reacts. He shouts for him to look out as he creates a tornado with his arm, launching the soldier away, and old man Flash tells him, "Not bad, kid, not bad. But come on, I can already see ahead what we need. And that's this baby." Barry looks past him asking, "A treadmill?" So old man Flash tells him, "It's not just any treadmill, it's the cosmic treadmill. Dangerous stuff, but it's gonna help you get back to the correct time." Old man Flash quickly begins to reassemble the torn apart treadmill, and as he finishes, he pushes Barry on, telling him, "All right, we're out of time. It's good to see you, but just remember what our mother said. Next time you see Iris, say yes already. Now run." Seconds later, there's a crack-oom, and Barry slides to a slowdown, stating, "Am I home? The hell just happened? I can't run like that again. I can't. The future." So in the coming days, Barry desperately tries to recreate the treadmill. But with all of his self-doubts, he can't help but just shake and vibrate. He tries to calm himself down, and then he gets a message from Iris asking for a meetup. He thinks about what old man Flash said about just saying yes, so he finally agrees. And the moment he sees Iris, the shaking disappears. At that moment, he gets ready to cross the street when suddenly a police car speeds by and then he hears a voice. How dare you stand in the way of my destiny? The police surround an older man, but as they open fire on him, the man waves his arm, stopping the bullets mid-air. He plucks them out, stating, "You may call me Turtle." Barry tells him, that's the guy, that's Turtle. Wait, what if I stop him now? We could ignore that future. Just then, Iris jumps up from her seat and starts to run towards the action, and as Barry watches, he finds himself in awe. A woman with no powers running in head first and unafraid. But as she steps out, a police car almost hits her when suddenly there's a red blur standing in front of her. With everyone slowing down, Barry shouts to Turtle that this is the end of the line. Barry charges forward, but as he swings, he feels his body stop, and the Turtle smiles, telling him, "No, I don't think so." With Barry's body frozen in time, Turtle punches him and then stops, stating, "That's curious. You are like me." Turtle throws Barry into the wall, asking, "Where did you get those powers? That speed, it's intoxicating. But slow and steady always wins the race." Barry tries to recreate the tornado, but before he could finish, Turtle grabs him again, throwing him back into the wall. As he braces for the hit, his body vibrates and he starts to phase through it. Barry tells himself, "Wait, the last time that I did this." Suddenly, the wall explodes and bricks begin to shower down on Turtle. Time begins to pick up as the bricks fly all over, and Barry quickly runs over to make sure that none of the bricks hit any officers, or more importantly, Iris. Turtle gets back up, asking, "Where am I? I'll slow all of you to nothing." But just before the Turtle could activate his powers, the officers tase him and knock him out. As the police take him away, Barry changes back into his street clothes, telling Iris that he's sorry for being late. Iris scoffs, stating a Central City girl doesn't like to be kept waiting, Alan. But don't take this as being mean or anything. What happened to your face? As Barry tries to think of an excuse as to where the bruise from his battle came from, he blurts out that it was left over from the lightning in his lab. He's a slow healer. Iris then says that she's pretty sure that he needs to get to work on the crime scene. They can get some coffee some other time. But Barry stops her, stating, "How about dinner instead?" And Iris tells him that this diner she goes to serves breakfast all day. From that day on, Barry worked using his powers for good, while also trying to maintain a relationship with Iris. Another month passed, and soon Barry started to leave a spray-painted lightning bolt at the scenes where he helped out. Of course, he would race by later to clean it up, but it was to show people that there was someone looking out for them. But one day, Barry was trying to figure out a way to get into costume faster, and that's when he made a ring in his apartment building. Iris yells over the intercom, "Surprise! Buzz me in!" But what was Iris doing here? She's never been to his apartment before, and it's a mess. So Barry does what anyone with superhuman speed would do. Changes, runs out for flowers, cleans up his apartment, and all before Iris could even knock on the door. As the two get ready for their date night, she sets down her bag and a picture falls out. Barry grabs it, asking who's this, and she tells him that it's the man Clive Yorkin, a violent career criminal. Remember that crime scene from a few months ago? That was John Banks, Yorkin's partner. She's pretty sure that they were setting up a heist and Yorkin killed him over it. Barry begins to state that maybe he can help her, but Iris snatches the picture, stating, "No way, don't forget the rules. No work talk on dates." Just then, Iris's phone goes off, and as she reads the message, she sighs, stating that that's one of her sources. It seems Yorkin is working with a new gang. She's got to go. Barry laughs, stating that duty calls, and Iris tells him that she's just been working on this for months while everyone else chases the Flash stories. So Barry asks, "You're not interested in the Flash?" And Iris kisses him on the cheek, stating that she needs more evidence to decide. Central City has a lot of crime, and it needs more than a costumed hero. It needs hope. So as she leaves, Barry rushes to the lab to begin processing all of the evidence taken from the crime scene of John Banks. There was powder on his shoes, a controlled substance that is only available at Central City Pharmaceuticals. And with that knowledge, hopefully he can. Barry quickly slows down not to be seen as he spots Clive, and just before he could go in, Iris shouts to him asking if she could have a word with him. She would like to talk to him about an old associate of his, John Banks. Clive walks over, stating that she could take a hike, and Iris asks, "Did you murder him?" Clive grabs Iris by the shoulder, stating that she can come with them. But Iris kicks him and he pulls out a gun and he opens fire. Before Iris could blink, all of the bullets disappear, and Clive and his new gang are tied up. Barry runs home so that he isn't seen, but as he stops to breathe, he falls to the ground in a pool of his own blood, shot. And that concludes the first half of Flash Year 1. We got Flash Year 2 coming out very soon, and we also have a storyline involving Old Man Flash with Batman Beyond. So you're going to see more Flash coming out now that the show's back up and running. Since this episode is being recorded right after the first episode, what do you guys think of the first episode of Flash Season 6? Did you like it? Because I personally did. I thought it was a lot of fun. And if you want to see what's going to happen to Flash Year 1 and you want to see what's going to happen with Old Man Flash, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can get these videos when we put them out. YouTube has a very weird notification system. So by subscribing, hitting like, and leaving us a comment, we'll make sure that you get these videos. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time right here.